We just came out of a rough patch, and we just want to testify how God healed our son. Okay, so I'll let Tiff elaborate how everything started a few weeks ago.
Cannon, we took him to urgent care. Was that a Wednesday night? It was a Wednesday night. We took him on to urgent care because he was warm. But we really, it was Bash. That's why we went to urgent care, because Bash was really, really hot. And Cannon was starting to get warm. So we took them to urgent care in Southfield. And the doctor came in. She's like, oh, they tested positive for RSV. I'm freaking out because I'm freaking out. So she's like, just take them home, put them under the humidifier, and they'll be fine. It just has to run its course, Bash, he was warm a couple of days prior. So by Wednesday, his was kind of weaning off. Cannon, Thursday, I stayed home with them all day. Stayed home with them. And they had got sick earlier in the week because you stayed home with them. And then we thought that they were getting better. So, but they weren't. Took them to urgent care Wednesday, stayed home. I stayed home from work Thursday. We woke up in the middle of the night, Thursday night. Cannon, it was just a restless night. He was restless. And I said, okay, well, Jacob, if it gets worse, then we'll just take him to the hospital. Fine.
And it got worse.
It got worse. And he wasn't able to breathe. He was literally struggling to breathe. Neither one of us were sleeping. We couldn't sleep. We were just sitting up with him, watching him struggle to breathe. So I was like, you know what? Let's just take him. Take him to Providence. And we'll just see what they say. We went to urgent care, but we were like, just to see. Took him to we took him to Providence. Jake took him to Providence. And they rushed him to Children's, and he was admitted to ICU. And super scary. I mean, watching my baby connected to all those tubes and him not being able to breathe, it was really, really rough. He was in ICU for a week. But
he was in ICU on a ventilator.
On a ventilator for a week, and he wasn't getting any better. So they kept him in ICU, but then the doctors came in. You want to tell this part?
Yeah. So they did an x-ray on his chest. They said it was RSV. RSV is an upper respiratory virus, and it affects little babies the hardest and elderlies. And he barely was breathing, so he was in ICU. On a ventilator. So he made it to high flow oxygen, a step down from the ventilator, but he wasn't getting better. So the the doctors came in, they was looking thoroughly, checking on him, like, why he not getting better? So we praying, we got a bunch of people praying with us. I thank God for the prayer warriors that connected with us, that touched and agreed with us. The people that sold into us during that time, like, it was family stepped up with us. Like, we really appreciate everybody that did that. And them prayers, man, the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. That's what the Bible says. So we came together in prayer. So we praying the whole time. And I remember God telling me, like, he gonna make it through that. He gonna be all right. So I was standing on that, but it was tough seeing him like that. So we was praying. So then they came in, they looked inside of his nose and saw it was some blockage. And then, like, it could be as simple as a booger, or it could be something.
You say woogie.
Whatever. Woogie, booger. Well, they said it could be something, or benign?
Well, they were saying that we're going to hope that it's benign, because the nurse was like, oh, it looks like a boogie. Like, let's just take some tweezers and pull it out. But the doctor was like, no, we can't do that. We need to make sure that it is benign. It's nothing where we have to go in and do surgery to get it out.
Mm.
So we're going to have the specialist come in. And we're going to have the specialist come in and we'll run some x-rays and run some tests just to make sure, because whatever it was literally keeping him from breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, do you want to see it? I couldn't see anything. That's how far up it was in there. And I'm like, what the heck is it? So then they're like, oh, you know, I'm hearing the doctors talking amongst each other. Like, we have to make sure it's benign. We can't just go in. It could be attached to something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got to make sure that that we don't have to do surgery. I heard surgery. I heard benign. I heard
tube down the throat.
Tube down the throat. All these trigger words. I was like, you know what? I started pacing. I was like, I need some coffee.
Yep.
So I left out of the room. I prayed all the way to the coffee stand. I said to the coffee station, I said, Lord, no, you got to do this. You have to do this. I want to take my baby home. Benign. It's going to be benign. It's going to be fine. It's not going to be anything serious. I want to take my baby home. Jake called my phone. You want to take it from here?
Yeah. So, all the doctors left. They went to go get the specialist, except for one doctor. It was me and one other doctor in the room with the baby. So while Tiff was going to get coffee, whatever, mind you, we both was praying, and she was playing a prayer on her phone.
Some Shell
sent us, like, we was praying, sent prayer, then other people was praying for us. So when the doctors went to go get the specialist, out of nowhere, Cannon just sneezed, right? So he haven't really been sneezing there. So he sneezed one time, and I'm like, okay. So I'm watching him, and I look closely, and I see something red hanging out his nose. So I pulled the oxygen tube out his nose, and once I pulled it out, it was like a blood clot mixed with like boogers. Like it was it was like an infection. Like it was just like a burgundy.
I hate the word booger. It's just so.
It was
gross.
something like it was a little
was
ball. So as soon as we pulled that out, he just instantly started breathing. Like,
wow. Yeah.
And I'm all excited. I called Tiff, like, he just sneezed and something came out his nose, and the doctors come running back, and he just
sneezed again.
He started getting better.
Yeah.
And everybody like shocked. So I'm still watching him, and I pour the other tube out his nose because I see something red, and it's another blood clot or whatever that infection was.
You could just see all of it.
Yep.
I mean, it was the biggest, but I don't even know how it was in there.
Yep.
Like, it was bigger than he was.
Yep.
Like, I mean, bigger than his nose. It was huge. And instantly, his chest stopped caving in.
Instant.
He was breathing so much better. He started smiling. He could breathe. Again. He was eating because I wasn't able to really nurse him because he wasn't able to breathe and nurse at the same time. I just thank God because it just it was really amazing, and all the doctors were so impressed. they came, they were running in there like, what happened? I mean, and the specialist came. It's like, we don't need y'all. We don't need y'all no more.
He got healed before the specialist came.
Right before the specialist came.
Miracle.
Yep. So
and they kept him a few more days to do observations and monitor him, but he was passing every test they came with.
Yep.
And we walked up out of there giving God glory. And this the other thing. We both missed work, right? I'll let Tiff tell her part. See, I missed work.
What's my part?
About UWM.
Oh.
So 6 days I missed work during this time of their sickness. I didn't have no PTO left, right? So one thing people were sewing into us, we was able to pay a bill. We was able to eat. We had what we needed. And my job, I thank God for preserving what we had. Like, our jobs came through for us. So my job allowed me to borrow PTO from next year. So I ran out of vacation time. So personal time off, I ran out of that. They let me borrow from next year to make sure I had a full check during that time. So I didn't miss a beat. We was good on that end. I'll let Tiff tell her part.
I actually had to resign. Y'all know I just got a job. And I was in communication. They were so amazing about it, but I was concerned. I'm like, my son is in ICU. I'm missing training. I was in the middle of training. And I reached out to a couple of people, and I was like, I'm concerned. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm missing all these days. And they were like, just resign. Resign. And we'll just take it once he's better, just let us know. And I was really stressed. And I'm like, okay, now I just got this job. Like, what? Now what they want me to resign? I got to resign. And like, why? Like, you know what I mean? But I get it. And all last week I was stressing. I was like, come on, man. Like, how am I gonna, whatever. Long story short, I start my job back on Monday. So I'm going back to work Monday, and we never missed a beat. Like, I think I know why God allowed this to happen. I think it happened to bring us closer. I think that he just needed to show us some things. And, I feel like that's the way God moves. But the healing was already there. Like, I'm so grateful. Like, this Thanksgiving just could have been a little different because of the, and then the hospital was full of babies crying and parents crying and just full of sick kids. And it just, because he's so young, he's 3 months, and, the doctor was saying, had we not brought him, the situation could have been way different. So I'm just grateful.
Here he is.
Hi, Cannon, say hi. He loves football. He watching the Lions game.
Yep. So we're grateful on this Thanksgiving for life, for our son's life. God showed us that he has healing power. God showed us what can happen when people come together in unity, on one accord, when everybody believing and praying together. Things happen, man. God worked miracles. So we just want to say thank you to everybody that helped us out. Family, people that sold into us, people that prayed with us, people that called and checked on us. Thank you for everything. We love y'all. And here's the testimony. All right. God bless y'all. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
From the Moore family. We missing Carter, but he with his grandparents. So we love y'all.
Bye.